Hi, and welcome to the UNAS Midwatch podcast. Thanks for listening. If you're enjoying our podcast and would really like to help us out, please subscribe and leave a review wherever you are listening.
So, I do have to say
Facebook or Instagram,
that I hate
head on over,
all
subscribe, and follow us
for having me watch.
We also have a Patreon available, so you can help
You
us
convinced
keep this
me
podcast
that it was a
going.
good movie,
Just look us up and become part
and
of
I watched
UNAS
it,
today.
and that
Sit
was...
back and enjoy the show.
I'm getting frustrated right now just talking.
Well, hold on. I don't think we say
hate
it was a good movie.
I'm
But
pretty
when
sure
you're a
Rob-
part of like watching a franchise, it's like you're already committed up to a certain point. It's like when a season of a show sucks, like you just have to fight through it to finish the series.
But that movie wasn't even connected to the rest of the franchise.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I started doing chores, and it was just more of a background movie. And I
So,
didn't actually
I'm pretty
watch.
positive that Rob and Leon both said that it was a good movie, you just kind of had to shut your brain off a little bit, and there was some good action, and blah, 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 blah. The fucking movie pissed me off every step of the way, mostly because of the daughter. The daughter irritated me so much, because the entire time I was like, I already see what they're going to do with this movie. Every action that the daughter had is going to be justified, even though she's been a raging little bitch this entire time and won't listen to anybody and just wants everything her way and is just being stupid. She's gonna find the friend.
Are you talking
They're
about
gonna escape together?
Doom's daughters back at home?
What? No.
Just
Army of the Dead.
Oh.
That's what I'm talking about.
I thought you meant like
Wait, have you-
teenage daughters that she just wants her way and
Well, that's
being
what the
pissed
movie.
off.
That's what the
She's a
movie
little-
reminded me of. And the entire time, every time that they're like, "No, we could literally get other people killed by you being stupid," she's like, "Well, fine, I'll just go do it on my own." Or you could like protect me. You know, it irritated me every time because, like I said, I knew that they were gonna find the friend. The friend was going to be safe, and everything was going to be justified. All of her actions, everything was going to be justified. And what pissed me off even more was the fact that, I don't know if you noticed or not, but the friend didn't survive. When the helicopter crashes, and the helicopter pilot dies, who I love the helicopter pilot, I thought she was hilarious, right? The helicopter crashes, and you don't even see the friend die. There's no, like, well, maybe she's still alive, maybe she's not. Like, you don't see her die, you don't see anything. You just see the helicopter crash. And that's it. And then it's a happy ending.
Listen, I think that the daughter's justified because there is a famous saying that goes, the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. And so she takes priority. She probably had a TikTok she needed to film because her subscribers want content.
I did
It's
think it was
working.
kind of funny that you had the guy there who was, like, doing the TikToks the entire time, like, doing the zombie kills. Even though the chick that he was with, who had absolutely no introduction, I don't even know why she was there besides, like, filming his stuff, she was the biggest badass of the entire movie. She killed, like, I don't even know how many zombies. And then, the moment when she's, like, on her knees about to get eaten by zombies and everyone's just staring at her, nobody's helping her, nobody's anything, and then the moment she gets bit is when they're like, oh, we should probably explode that area. It irritated me so much because there was so much to that, and I wish Rob was in here because I could hear him talk about it. Plot script wise, there was so much plot armor in there, and so much like, well, this person's only alive or dead because of this.
I don't know. Hey man, what are you doing?
Holy shit, look at this.
Did you hear us
zombie.
talking? You're looking like a zombie.
Got any pillows?
Are you
I
okay?
need a pillow.
Why do you
On
need
your
a pillow?
rack.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
He's grunting.
Sounded-
Waddling away like penguin. I'm Danny DeVito over there.
Do you have, like, hemorrhoids or something? What's going on? Why do you need a pillow?
Hold on. You gotta sit on it.
He has hemorrhoids.
Well, they would have given him a donut, so why are you looking for a pillow?
Well, they didn't give me a donut. And no, I do not have hemorrhoids.
Why are you acting like
Are you
such a big
chafing?
baby then?
Are you getting ready for the PFA that you're all raw?
Right?
You didn't mind the gap?
No, I don't have a gap.
I don't think any of us have a gap except for Leon.
That's just in his teeth. No, have you guys not noticed I've been gone for like 3 days?
To be fair, all of us have been doing your job by putting in the code for like the past 2 weeks. So no, we didn't notice you weren't here.
Oh, well, I've been gone. Well, I
noticed he was gone.
I know you did. I finally did it. I got a vasectomy.
No shit.
What?
Yeah.
No more little hellions running around for you?
No more. Wife and I finally decided it was done, and we are done, and took the advice of a friend, Duggar, and got the snip.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, after 17 kids, I'm surprised, it didn't get done sooner.
Maybe
Right.
17
Yeah.
was his lucky number.
You have your small clan going on.
He has enough to almost be able to field a full offense and defense for football.
Right.
Yeah.
Call it something medieval like House Doom.
So I assume you're nice and drugged up then. Why
I
do you look like you're in
wish.
so much
Valiant.
pain?
No.
Percocet.
They gave me the typical military Motrin and lots of water talk. Nothing. I'm on basically the same thing.
So
That's it.
ibuprofen.
Did they up your dose
Nope.
at least?
Nothing.
Oh my god.
What, 800s?
Yep.
Sometimes they'll give you a prescription a day or two before, so you already have the pill the morning of to be taken prior to even showing up.
Nope. My pre-operation talk was go ahead and shave yourself and buy jockstraps.
Wait, they didn't shave you?
No, I shaved myself.
I'd just like to imagine that with how big your balls are, like.
Why would you like to
It would've-
imagine that?
It would have been like an old. It would have been like an old timey barber shop, like pulling them up with the blade, just like.
Like a leather strap.
Yeah.
That's in about another 40 years.
Oh my god.
You're right.
So, actually, on a quick side note, I've actually heard that if you shave yourself prior to a surgery, because of the procedure that the doctors and nurses are supposed to take, that even if you're bald, you're supposed to be shaved again by them.
Yeah,
So
no, they
no
didn't do
day
that.
after stubble or anything.
Nope. They just he asked me to. He's like, I don't have to shave you anymore. They used to.
So I'm not going to
Really?
shave you.
Yeah, he's like, I don't like a lot of hair down there when I'm doing surgery, so it's better for you to shave yourself if you want to be shaved for the surgery.
You should have told him that if you're going to be uncomfortable, he should be uncomfortable.
That's really funny. Until you get fucking smacked in the gob because it's a one-bladed bick.
Maybe he
Can't
thought
even Mach 3 that, bro.
he thought you
No.
weren't going to shave, and that's why he only gave you Motrin.
I don't know.
But he had already put in the order, so he was like, I'm not going to change it.
No,
now."
he said he doesn't prescribe narcotics, and apparently they don't do that anymore. Which is weird because
They, as in all doctors in the UNAS, or just him?
just him, I don't know. I didn't ask that question because I didn't find out until that day. Like, I'm going into surgery.
Too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, they have my ID. Give them a call at this number so they can start the prescription process after my surgery. Because every person that I took, and I've took 2 people throughout my time, I would take their ID, and they would call me and say that they're done with surgery and I need to get in line at the pharmacy. So I'd go to the pharmacy and start picking up their prescription, which is usually Vicodin.
Right.
And then when I told them that before I went back, they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't do that anymore." I was like, "Jesus." So what am I gonna get? Like, you got Motrin at home? I was like,
They didn't even ask if you needed
So-
it. They're just like,
No.
you got it at home, right?
yeah,
So let me
pretty
clear
much.
this up, because, we got to think the UNAS is pretty close to socialist medicine, right? So follow me here. You went to the doctor to receive a specialist treatment, surgery, and yet you had to shave yourself. You have to provide your own jockstraps for comfort afterwards, and you have to provide your own medication to get through it. So, like, what exactly is the purpose of the doctor if you literally did 75% of the work?
Yeah, what if he just handed you, like, the scalpel and was like,
Do you
"All
not
right, make
know
the
how
cut."
doctors work?
Okay, here's a clean pair of scissors. We at least autoclaved him for
90% of a doctor's job is done by a nurse.
Here's a serrated blade.
you. Well, I'm talking
They
medical
come in-
professionals. I get what you're saying, but just
They come
medical
in-
professionals.
10%, and then do the last little bit and get paid the most. Granted, they're there and their expertise is there for in case stuff happens, but you ever watch like people give birth? You know, the guy that catches the baby or girl is usually the last one in the room and does the least amount of work. It's all the nurses and registered nurses and corpsmen or whatever they call them in the UNAS. I don't even know. They're the ones that do most of the work. So I get in there and I don't even see the doctor till 2 minutes before the procedure. I have the second sergeant come in and, all right, I'm going to be helping you with your procedure. These are the steps we're going to take. We're going to take your vitals first, and we're going to go into the room. And it's just a flat table. There's no stirrups or anything. And of course, me being so
Wait,
tall,
were you expecting stirrups?
I was expecting stirrups. He gets in there and he's like, take your pants off. You can leave your shirt on. It's like, oh, thank God. I put on the gown or whatever, and I sit on the table. So I'm waiting. He's like, oh, you can keep your shoes on if you want.
For
That's-
what?
feast.
Extra traction?
Yeah, I don't know.
Your feet are just like hanging in the air.
Yeah.
Can you get some no-slip socks or something? Like
I didn't even get that. Like, I was expecting some no-slip socks. I love those things. I got like 6 pair at home.
It's like your Spider-Man when you're having sex, just 1 foot up on the wall.
No, I'm a little too old for that. I get in there and I get cleaned all up. I lift my gown up. There I am on display for the world to see. Luckily, there's only one person in there with me. Cleans me up, starts laying the towels down, lays the towels down, and it's under the sack and over and around, but the boys are hanging out, just sitting there. He's like, all right.
The way that you do that, I just imagine they're nestled in there like a bird's nest, just
Almost, yeah.
like enveloped around the edges, but 2 little spring eggs.
Yeah, just
hanging.
think about like if you were to take 2 eggs in a hanky and put blue towels all around it. So that's what it looked like.
Do you have to like hold your like gut up or anything while you're doing it? Or?
No, I said it was laying down, so it just fell to the side. So, and he's like, all right, I'm going to go get the doctor. So I'm just standing there, or not standing, laying there.
Yeah, I got so confused.
Yeah, laying there, just hanging out. Literally hanging out and just waiting. I was in there for maybe 3 minutes by myself.
Contemplating your
Just
existence.
wondering
Yeah,
what's going
like
on.
what the hell is going on?
He's
Where
like
is this
wondering
doctor?
where the gentle breeze on your sack is coming from.
He's looking like, you know, those black and white cat pendulum clocks where the eyes just go back and forth as he's swinging down below.
Every little like noise he hears.
And like every tick of the clock that goes by, I'm debating on why the hell I'm doing this. And
Right about the moment you're like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this. Is when the doctor walks in.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm too far now.
then he knocks on the door, and it's still the corpsman. He's like, you know what? They didn't sign your paperwork, so I'll be right back. Shit, I didn't sign? She's like, no, the front desk didn't sign. It's like, okay, so does that mean we're still doing this? He's like, oh yeah, I'll get it signed, no worries. And they go out and they sign it, come back. He's like, okay, now I'll go get the doctor. Like, son of a bitch. It's been like 5 minutes now where my balls are hanging out, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. So the doctor finally comes in and he's like, okay, let's how you doing, Mr. Doom? Let's take care of this for you. How many kids you got? I was like, 17. He's like, do you like music? I was like, yeah, I like music. He puts on fucking polka.
What?
No bullshit. He starts playing polka.
That's a very
Like
strange
John
soundtrack.
Candy Home Alone polka.
What?
It's very strange to have a snippy too.
He starts playing it. Yeah, he was getting down.
Jigging.
Like jamming. So
Like,
Jiggy
who
with
actually enjoys that as a legit genre? Like, what do you like? Rock, rap, country? Bro, polka.
I'm a polka man.
That's
So-
odd. Okay.
So he puts it on and
Polka Man.
that's pretty good. He's like, all right, let's get this started. I'm gonna numb you, cut you, pull him out, and he pulls
out.
out your tube.
Oh God! You
Yeah.
scared me for a second.
He used like a cauterizer too, and he's like, I'm gonna numb you, don't worry about it. If you feel anything, just wince. I was like, well, that's kind of how it would go anyways.
Yeah. My spinal cord will tell me to do
Try
Yeah.
not to scream.
Yeah. He numbs it up. He's like, poking a burn. numbs it, and then he's poking a burn again, numbs it up some more, test it, still felt it, numbs it up some more. He's like, I love numbing agent. I use a lot of it. Don't worry about it. Okay. So he doesn't cut with a blade. He cuts with this like electronic thing, cauterizes and cuts at the same time.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. So he cuts with that, and then he's like, okay, so the numbing kind of takes care of the sharp pain. What you're going to feel now, I can't take care of. There's nothing to numb. What do you mean? So then he starts pulling out the tube. And I'm like, oh, I felt this in my gut and my toes at the same time. I am not even joking here. It hurts so bad.
Just like the
Like your
sun
ears
rays that
twinge.
center shoot out.
Yeah. So it's such a weird feeling. And it's not a sharp pain. You getting poked with something. It's a very dull, very
Like
deep,
you feel it in every crevice of your body.
very, very deep pain.
I bet you a Louisville Slugger upside the head would take care of it.
How about a Louisville Slugger in the taint? That's probably what it felt like.
Essentially, yeah. If you've ever been kicked in the nuts,
Really?
that, like, square. Got them both or all three. It's the
Made you
pain
puke.
afterwards. That
Be like
deep.
abdominal pain.
Yeah.
Like,
So he starts pulling, and I can feel him pulling. He pulls out enough to put his finger, the tube, over his finger. So then they have to pinch and clamp, and then they cut a section out. Then they have to cauterize. And the way this like Corman person described it was, make a straw, not a straw. What?
The fuck did you just say?
Yeah. So imagine a straw, plastic straw. So they basically take this cauterizer, put it into the straw, and start cauterizing, and it pinches like it's melting on itself. And then
like
on the way out.
paracord. Like you're cutting a piece of paracord and you got to melt the ends.
Yes, but you're melting inside the paracord first and then out.
I don't know how to describe how uncomfortable that sentence just made me.
Yeah, it's... You don't feel it. That part you don't feel.
Didn't
But-
feel it in your toesies?
No. When he cauterized the nerves on both ends, that is a sharp nerve pain that shoots all the way through your body.
That,
Every ounce of it.
Clench and let go like
Yes.
shot. Oh.
You- like a shot of electricity from your testicles to your pinky fingers. He finished up on the one side, and then
He's
he let,
making me squirm.
yeah, he let the other the Corman do the other side. Corman never used the cauterizer before to cut. Wanted to use not the scissors, but the blade. So
Don't worry, this is on your UI for your PQS.
Yes.
You need to do
Yeah, you need to
cauterizing
slow
under instruction 3 times.
yes.
Oh my god.
So he did the numbing and cutting and everything on the left side, and didn't get enough numbing agent. So I felt more on the left side than I did the right side. And the doc kept going. He's like, "Don't be ashamed of, or don't be afraid to numb it up some more." He's like, "He's gonna feel that if you don't numb it up some more." And I looked over, and he's not picking up the needle. I'm like, "What the hell? Go ahead, pick up that needle, buddy."
Did you tell him?
I did. He's like, "Oh, I think we'll be all right. Do you feel this?" It's like, "No." He's like, "Yeah, you're fine."
I could understand that if it was a woman doing it, because
Was not
funny. But a guy
Yeah.
be like, "Bro, put your balls up here and let me do the snippy snip. You want extra numbing?"
Yeah. It was fun. Yeah, I'll put it that way. It wasn't something I recommend, but if you want it done, it's minimal pain.
It's minimal pain now, so that you don't have 18 years worth of pain.
Yeah. And it's reversible, and the procedure my wife would have to go through to make it possible this is way easier for me to just do it and be out for a couple days.
Wasn't there a football player that he had like 19 kids and got a vasectomy done, and his body repaired it, and he knocked up another chick?
Yeah, there's it's a 2% chance that you could still reconnect or have like a latent sperm. left
Imagine
in
how
the hole.
angry you'd be if you got that done, and here you are, you've been shooting up the club for 2 years, and then just one day, like, girlfriend or wife pops up pregnant, and you're like, it ain't mine, so who
Yeah.
have you been sleeping with? And
Jurassic Park said it.
then, here you go.
Nature
Life
finds a way. But yeah, so that's where I've been. And now I have to wear a jockstrap for like a week, and then ice it down when it hurts, and Motrin.
Silver lining, being that you're in the UNAS, you didn't have to pay for it. Imagine if you had paid for a vasectomy and it fixed itself down the
No,
line.
he did have to. Your own support system, your own pillows, your own medication.
Well, I'm talking like
your own,
you actually had to make an
I get what you're saying,
insurance
like
claim
the
to
procedure.
pay it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would
feel
want
like
that money back.
Yeah.
that
Like, could you
2%
sue?
Chance of coming back, like
2% is not very
You
high,
could not
but on
sue
something
the
like
doctors, but you might get away with suing like the insurance company and maybe possibly getting your money back.
that, or another free vasectomy. No, it's a
but I'm
1%
sure that's in the paperwork,
chance.
though. I mean, if
Yeah, it's probably a disclosure agreement or something like that, I
Yeah.
can imagine.
I mean, remember, like 0.04% chance is extreme, right?
But
And we take
so you're
drastic
saying there's a chance.
right.
The jockstrap sucks. I never thought wearing a jockstrap all day was a thing, but I have to wear it all day.
Listen, I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't even need a jockstrap because my chest cavity is doing all the support. Because after hearing your story,
That's what they're
everything's in
saying.
any right now.
Hmm.
I was really
All up next
confused
to
for
my
a second
liver.
because I thought he was about to be like, my testicles are tiny. I don't need any support.
Well, yes, that too. But I'm just saying the tiny things are still inside me.
There you go.
So yeah, it was.
I'm an innie, not an outie.
If you're contemplating it and you are nice and you don't want to have to do that to your wife, I suggest it. It's been 3 days and I feel a lot better. First day after the numbing agent wore off was a bit rough. Second day was a little bit better. But today is the third day and I feel good.
Considering how slow and agonizing you're moving, I shudder to think what you consider day one being a little rough when you say today you're doing pretty good and you look like shit.
I think it's more of it's not so much that I'm hurting when I move, it's the fear.
Ooh, how long till you can jerk off again?
A week.
How long are you going to actually wait?
A week.
Really?
Yeah.
He put a
I would
reminder
imagine
in his phone.
Like, could you
a 10-minute.
could you imagine for a
snooze
second?
alert.
Could you imagine for a second that the first time that you jerk off or have sex, depending, after having that surgery, I would be so paranoid that like the stitches would come undone or something would go wrong.
like
you know,
bust a seam?
yeah, something. You're like, oh man, I haven't done this in a whole week, and then next thing you know, it goes terribly, and next thing you know, you're in the ER. Like, what
So-
if you nut blood? You
Yeah, I don't know.
It'd be terrifying.
Yeah, I wonder
Um,
how would you know if it goes wrong?
You don't.
Like, I would
Unfortunately,
just
not
be
right away.
Afraid of any like pressure.
You have to wait a week, and then you're supposed to not shower for 20 to 48 hours.
That explains the smell.
Yeah. I've showered once, twice, something like that.
Then that doesn't explain the smell.
And then you have to wait a week to ejaculate, and then you have to wait 8 weeks, and you have to ejaculate 30 times in 8 weeks, and then get tested for a sperm count. And if you still have sperm count after 8 weeks, I think they make you wait a little bit and continue to ejaculate and to see if like you just had an extra tank or something.
Wait, so you have to rub one out 30 times in 8 weeks?
Yeah, it's like I'm in middle school.
Dude, 30 times in 8 weeks is once every 2 days.
That's exhausting.
Yeah, I'm tired just thinking about it.
I've jerked off twice today.
Yeah, I don't know.
Leon's probably jerked off like 6 times.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know,
I don't think about that. All I know is 30 in 7 weeks actually, because you have to wait a week. So 30 in 7 weeks. I'm already tired.
Like, what happen? What happens if you know you need to get 30 before that day, and you just procrastinated, and you get down to like the last 3 days, and you're like, I got 12, I gotta knock out.
Yeah.
Procrastination.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't work.
No.
So, here's a legit question for you. Do you have to take care of it yourself, or are you allowed to have sex?
You're allowed to have sex.
With the small risk that it didn't work, blah, 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 blah.
Well, you have reserves. Like,
Well, yeah.
you don't make it from the start of sex. Like, you have sperm right now just sitting there.
Yeah.
Chilling.
Yeah.
The only reason why I asked, because I remember I had
Waiting for Netflix.
It's way different, but I had to provide a sample for testing, but it had to be what they call, like, you know when you provide a urine sample as like a clean catch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. So I wasn't allowed to get any help or whatever.
Yeah.
It was...
Wait, when they test you to see if you have any sperm left in you, do you have to go, like, provide a sperm sample? Or do they, like...
I think so. So I had to go to a UNAS hospital and take care of business.
I have to imagine that would be the most stressful time
I hope their Wi-Fi is good.
to attempt. Like, I imagine, like, they put you in there, there's no Wi-Fi, they don't even give you a magazine or anything. They're just like, dude, you have your imagination, go do it.
Here's these 1970s instructional videos.
Have you guys ever done it before?
No, I've never given a sperm
Oh,
sample.
man. So, like I said, I have. But you're right. It is the weirdest thing ever. Like, I'm expecting something I see on a movie where there's, like, movies and a couch and you set the scene and light a candle. Something. And that is not the case. They say, here's your cup, there's the bathroom. And so I have to go and sit on this extremely high, 2 feet off the ground toilet, trying to figure this nonsense out. And it was right by the main exit where you have to hit the button on the wall for the big double doors to open. So while I'm sitting there trying to get myself in the mood ready for this sample, I have to listen to these two doctors carry on a conversation 4 feet away from me as they discuss what's going to be happening in the OR just down the way.
I
It
would
was
have made them
so
listen to my
awkward.
discussion.
Not even use headphones.
It was
Discussion between my hand and my shaft. What is going on
no,
in there?
it was like Gary and Larry having this conversation. It was so weird.
And make it awkward. Like, you could say something awkward after you orgasm. Like, oh, bring it, Delilah.
Oh, Kelly
Can you
Clarkson.
imagine? Kelly Clarkson. It's funny.
So, yeah. All right. Well, can one
My
of you guys...
toesies curled.
Can one of you guys go get sodas?
Why'd
I-
you like say it like that?
Because I'm not moving.
He's not going to be going.
Yeah, I'm not moving. And I need sodas.
I think I went last time. You want to go, Chris?
Sure.
I don't even know where Leon is. So,
He died.
No, I'm just getting.
okay.
I'll be back. Hey,
Hey,
Here you go. Here you go.
Jesus. What took you so long?
Yeah.
I just had to stop and hit the head.
Rob doesn't even want to
You
drink his
use
drink. He
the-
just wants to put it on his balls.
It is cold.
Like a sack of peas.
Yeah, he was just angry the whole time you were gone.
Dude, I had to hurry, but I had to pee. Which actually leads me to a question.
I hate when things leads.
Yeah, I know. So I don't want to talk more about your genitalia, but I do have a legit question I thought about while standing there. Can you feel any difference when you urinate? Like,
Yes.
I know it's a different...
Wait, what? You can?
Does it feel
Yeah.
awkward?
It is an awkward feeling. You know when you gotta pee? You can feel it.
Yeah, like literally just did about 2.5 minutes ago.
So imagine the sensation is different when I gotta pee.
That's weird.
No longer where it should be. It's like further. It's where it's usually is. It's further back in my gut. Right now, I feel like it's closer to the tip when I have to pee.
Like it
it's,
feels like you have a smaller bladder. You're
it's like
"Oh."
right there.
Interesting.
What
Yeah.
if when you got snipped, they instead snipped the fucking
Urethra?
the
Yeah,
cord,
the urethra.
the cord for the urethra, like by accident. Like
I don't know.
you can nut, but you can't pee.
Right. That's all I'm doing.
You
right
try
now.
to pee and it just
Right,
fills up your balls.
It's like all going in between the organs and stuff. So the other thing I thought about too is I remember when my stepdad, when I was a youngin', had a vasectomy. Only I didn't know that. I had to have been maybe 7, 8 years old. But what I do remember, and I didn't realize the impact of this till later, is I had gotten home from school. Usually my dad is not home, but on this particular day, he's home from work, in my mind, when I got home from school. And filled with excitement and joy that I get to hang out with my dad almost like immediately, I ran across the living room as I'm taking off my backpack and tossing it on the ground. I'm like, yeah, you're home. And then leaping from mid-living room, full stride, right into his gut as he's laying down on the couch trying to recover. And all I hear is,
Yeah, I can,
and then that's it.
One
Just
of your
dead
children
silence.
did
And
that
my
to
mom
you.
was like, go to your room, put away your stuff. Like,
I
What
can
happened?
feel that in my nads right now.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
one of
and
your
I didn't
kids
know.
does that to you. What is your exact sound that comes out of your mouth?
That sound. Like,
I just remember, like, but I was excited because he's home early.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have to wait 2-3 hours.
I told my kids, and that's why I was home for a couple days. Especially my son being 5 and
Don't even look at me.
at perfect height. And he's in a fighting phase where he fights with everything, and everything is a battle, or, you know, if I look
A
at him
punching
wrong,
bag.
he wants to punch. So,
Or even if he wants
No.
to hug, you know how you, like,
yeah.
wrap both arms around your thighs, but your head gets buried into your crotch. Or
Yeah.
his head would.
Luckily, he's gotten tall enough to where his head now hits my gut. He's above that zone, but shoulder length is my crotch. So punch height is my crotch.
Perfect.
And I've had I had to remind him a couple times. Like, no, Daddy's hurt.
Now you get the Louisville Slugger out,
Yeah.
like you want to see.
He's
What-
like, wait a minute, where are you hurt? I had surgery, buddy. He's like, where? I was like, in the giblets. He's like, the giblets? I was like, yeah, you know how you have giblets? I have giblets too.
Did it make it bigger? No.
Yeah. Can't get much bigger
Has he
than
ever
2 inches.
been hitting the nads before?
No, I've wanted
I
to
don't
a
even
couple
think
times.
he can really, like, feel for you.
No, I've wanted to a couple times, and I even said that when he was born. It's like, all right, finally, if I get kicked in the nuts by one of his shoes, or, you know, those stupid hard-soled shoes we give kids when they're real young, or I get stomped on as he's like playing on your lap.
I'm just gonna flick him in the raisins.
Yeah, just flick his beans.
Learn real quick.
Yeah,
This is important.
but
Voice got deeper real quick.
yeah. So yeah, I had to have the conversation a couple times. Like, I can't wrestle, I can't do anything right now.
The real question I would ask you, and I don't want to know more about this, like he said, we should move on. But if it feels different when you pee, I really want to know how different your first nut feels. Like, imagine
You
it's
know
a
lot.
well,
You
imagine
have
for a
an
second.
Imagination, like, I want to think about you, because you emphasize that word. I do not. I wish, like, Karen could play back this right now. You said, I want to think about you and your first nut.
It has been a couple times now. Like,
Hell yeah.
this conversation
Imagining
has
your
maybe
balls.
brought up some feelings
Anyways,
welling inside of you there.
think about that for a second. Like, I
Your
imagine.
feelings? I'm not thinking about
like,
your feelings.
You ever heard about, like, with piercings? Like, a girl can get, like, her clit pierced, and it changes what the stimulation is, right?
I don't know.
Imagine for a second you get the snippy snip, and the first time you get off, it feels like a completely different sensation. And what if it's in a worse way, not in a
if-
better way?
Would you like to be there to find out with me?
I'll videotape. But imagine for a second, like, the first one, you're like, oh, that's not as good as I remember. And that's your life now.
I don't know. We'll
Or, on the other side, you're like, back to being a middle schooler again. You're like, that was amazing. I'm going to be doing this every day.
see. Well, I have to knock out 30 in 7 weeks, so
I guess you're going to find out. That could be a really sad 30 if it's less stimulation now.
I don't know.
Or what if you couldn't get a chubby again?
Oh, they have pills for that.
I'm pretty sure.
they
And
nick
then
something.
if
Oh God.
it is an accident and it can't be fixed, then that's money from the UNAS. Anyways, so let's stop talking about my nuts and let's talk about holes. Black holes.
That was a very
Oh.
strange transition, but okay.
Yeah, segue was real awkward timing.
It was perfect timing. So I recently watched a documentary, but
I thought he was
I
going
don't
to say,
want
I recently
to-
got a colonoscopy.
so huge. Get into like details of how black holes work or anything like that. But you guys know what a black hole is, right?
The theory of black holes, yeah.
I mean, that's technically all they are at this point because we don't know anything else.
I like to
so
imagine,
far away.
I like to imagine they're actually a portal. Like that's where the
So that's my
aliens are
question:
chilling.
is like during this whole thing, the whole documentary is based off of theoretical physics and trying to find an answer when we can't really find an answer because we can't go there to find the answer. So the whole documentary is about this theoretical physics of trying to figure out what a black hole is. So what do you guys think a black hole is? Like, what is your like the worst explanation? Like, what would you not want it to be, and then what do you really, really want it to be?
The perception I always had that I got told in school was that if something goes through a black hole, like if a person did, it essentially like expands it and stretches it all the way down to like a molecular level. It just obliterates basically everything. I would hope that it's actually like a portal and like, oh yeah, the balls to step through. Congratulations, welcome to the alien world. Here's where all this technology is. You know, it's like
Here's Utopia.
Sounds like Wakanda.
yeah, like kind of like, oh, you actually have the guts to try, even though we like planted that seed that it's like suicide for you to do it. Oh, imagine for a second you were suicidal and you were like, I'm gonna fly my spaceship right into that black hole, and you drove straight through into Utopia, and you're like, oh, would you think that you died?
I guess you really wouldn't know.
This just went real deep.
Maybe that, like, you go into Utopia and it's a nice beach, everything's green. You're like, Garden of Eden. I must be in heaven.
What if hell is on the other side of the black hole?
I mean, the movie Event Horizon proved that.
So
I don't think I ever
it's
saw
actually been a
that.
very
Oh,
long
it's a
time since
fantastic
I've seen
movie.
it. I
Is
should
it?
watch that again.
Yeah.
How old is Event Horizon?
How old?
Yeah.
I want to say 90s.
15?
Is it really that old?
No
Oh my
way.
god, if it's in the 90s and you just started saying 15 years ago, that's how you know you're getting old.
So I think a black hole. So I don't know. If it's a portal to another world, right? Where physically would that world be located at?
Doesn't matter. It could like if you think like Portal, like it just drops you into another black hole in the universe is the other portal.
Yes, but is that in a dimension, or is it like a Mario Brothers plumbing tube?
I like to
where
think of
you
it
can
like a
just
plumbing
like
tube.
jump to another space and like this other world is actually in Andromeda. It's an Earth in Andromeda, and we just like speedscape over there real quick.
No, it's kind of like when you go through and it goes prr, 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 and you pop out the other side.
That's what I'm saying. So physically, we're sharing the same space, right? The same universe, galaxy, like whatever level that is. You're just saying that's like the elevator to get there real quick.
I mean,
the
if you've
train
ever
stop.
played the Mass Effect games,
I have
it's
not.
essentially a similar thought process. You know, it's like being able to have not interdimensional, but like stellar space travel. Like, what if it was that simple? You just fly into the black hole and just come out of another black hole.
I don't know. It's got to be
We
at least like
need
20
to
parcels
send-
away.
Someone needs to talk to Elon and get a rocket sent into a black hole so that we can squash this for once.
Well, the problem
Once
is
for all.
like the nearest one is 1,500 light years away,
So start now.
which I don't know if you know how far that is.
No.
Okay. So
Really far.
It is really far. Space is determined by astronomical units. One astronomical unit is the measure from the center of Earth to the center of Sun. That's how we measure space, right? 1 light year, I think, is like 26,000 times one astronomical unit. So 1,500 times 2,600 times 1 astronomical unit.
That's a whole lot of unit.
It's a big unit. And then that's the nearest one. And that one, I think, is called the unicorn. It's actually 3 times bigger than the sun.
Oh,
I just like to imagine, like, when you talk to those people who are, like, flat earthers and stuff, and they think, like, the moon is fake, and, like, we actually have, like, a dome over the top of us, and space isn't real. Like, the world is just the world, we're the only thing, and all that.
That could be true. Stephen King's, like, The Dome, right? That story.
Mm-hmm.
We have the fake area that was put in on, oh my gosh, what's the name of the Marvel show that just came on before Winter Soldier?
WandaVision?
Yeah, WandaVision. So if you think about it, these are fake worlds underneath a dome. So maybe these movies are put out by
To
the
get you to
government
accept the thought process.
Yes, to kind of like get the thought out there, get you thinking that perhaps this is a possibility, so you get comfortable with the idea of when they release the truth.
It's kind of like when they talk about aliens, and all of a sudden people are like, meh, we knew that.
So here's another thing, though, with the black holes. I've often thought about this. But if that is 1 unit of measurement, right? That means Earth is pretty minuscule, and then we as humans on Earth are even tinier. And then we study cells that go down to a whole different ecosystem, so to speak, on just 1 cell inside of our bodies. What if we, as humans, like, we make deals with each other, we shake hands, we trade currency? What if that is like a osmosis transfer
We're a
between
one-cell
us, and
organism
we
between
are
for somebody
like,
else.
Yeah, like what if we are the mitochondria or ribosomes?
The powerhouse
to a
of the cell.
The cell being Earth, and then goes on from there and there and there and there.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, like, if you look at, so the whole documentary was about them actually being able to photograph a black hole, which they haven't been able to do up until about 2017.
What's wild to me is, like, they get a picture and they actually see something. Like, they see, like, a giant space snake or something floating around, and they're just like, we don't want to go that direction.
They actually did that. They talked about that in the documentary. There was a, in space, there's no sound because sound can't travel in space, but there was 2 black holes that collided with each other to make 1 large black hole. And right before they became 1 black hole, it made a sound. Like, these guys won, like, Peace Prize awards and everything for it. It was kind of cool. Super nerdy documentary. Like, you have to be on another level of nerd to understand it all.
Rob was gonna watch this on drugs from his surgery, and
was,
then had
too.
to watch it on ibuprofen, and was like, God, I don't understand any
Well, it's
of
already
this.
on my
Get
watch list.
any
I
of
can't
this.
pick anything else.
Think of the nerdiest person you know, and then put 40 of them in one room, and how they all act and interact with each other. And these guys are, like, super smart. What's the dude in the wheelchair that talks like a robot?
Stephen
Hawking. So he was part of this documentary, and obviously he's died since, but they have a retreat. These guys, Stephen Hawking and his close friends, all go on a retreat just to do theoretical physics while they're on vacation and with each other. Like, they spend like a week or something together in some house, and there's chalkboards, and they do math and theoretical physics as a vacation.
As nerdy as that sounds, though, I bet you that once you have that room there to bounce ideas off of and keep expanding on these ideas, or,
No,
know,
I'm
they
not
say
knocking
20
is.
minds are better than one.
Yes.
I bet you they get so much accomplished when they're not under the pressure of a university to do this one study. Let's say they're just free thinkers to do whatever they want because they're on vacation. I bet you there's some really important stuff coming out of that retreat.
Oh, I guarantee it. They actually solved one of the big things that Stephen Hawking proposed in the 70s during these retreats. If something goes into a black hole, essentially, if information goes in, essentially it dies. Like, nobody knows about it anymore, nobody's heard about it anymore. But essentially, if you go into a black hole it is gone forever, gone from your mind. But they've since found that black holes actually give off information instead of just sucking it all in. Like they give off radiation. It was really interesting.
That's crazy.
Super nerdy, but it was actually kind of interesting to listen to.
You ever want to see some major cringe when it comes to nerd stuff? Have you ever heard of the show Battle of the Nerds?
Maybe. I don't know if I've seen it or not.
I think it only had like one season, but there's this dude on the show who, if you imagine that guy you went to high school with that was really, really unhealthily obsessed with everything nerd related, like was a Halo freak, like just like you could probably picture this dude, like how greasy he is, and how just like
I've worked with a couple.
yeah, like the way they talk and like think they're superior to literally everyone. There's a dude on the show like that.
So like
And he's a real person, and he is
grandma's boy guy.
painful. Worse, he is painful to watch. The way that he talks to other people, you're like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
He's
Like,
never been punched.
yeah, that's extremely obvious.
Yeah.
So I was doing some thinking the other day, more like
First
joke
time in
thinking.
2 years.
So, you know how when we're told like kids grow up, like they grow up too fast and it just goes by so quickly, you know, they'll be old before you know it. So what if that happens because Einstein's theory of relativity, that when you become a parent...
Wouldn't that be theory of relatives?
Theory of... That's good. So, as a parent, now you got a kid running around. Now you're picking up speed, you're running around, and you're always on the go. And therefore, right, time slows down the faster you go. That's why the kids grow up so fast. You're going so quickly. Alright, forget it.
I don't think I've seen you move quickly one time in the past 4 years I've known you. Nothing?
Not even
I
like
think
twice
that's
a
like
year.
yeah, I don't know. I don't
Push-ups,
believe in
sit-ups in
like
a mile and a half.
You bike.
yeah, I don't believe in that whole if you blink they're gone. Cuz there's a good 18 years there. That's a long time. That's almost like a full-time job and then retirement. Like you get 2 years early because it's a 24/7 job. Like you don't have to go to 20 to retire. You retire at 18. But then you don't retire because you got to get them through the rest of their young adulthood because they don't stop needing you at 18.
I don't know, it does go by pretty quickly.
It goes by super fast, but so does 18 years of your life. Like think about you've been in like 21 years of the military, right? Navy and UNAS.
Right.
So can you still remember boot camp?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Essentially, it's the same thing.
Or even if on the level of like a deployment, like 8 months, oh, he just got extended, but then the second you come home you're like, I mean, it wasn't so bad. It like
No,
Yeah, just
it's just a
take a couple
choice
days.
on how we tend to remember things.
Though
They
kind of
like-
related to that, I don't want to steal this away from you.
You already
this,
are.
This jumped into my head when you said this. Have you ever had that moment? You track burger days on deployment, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was standing in line one day, and we had like 6 burger days left on this whiteboard at the front of the mess decks line. They got updated every time a burger day came before we were going to go back. And I watched the CS senior chief come out real slow, just kind of looking at everybody a little weird, walked up to the board, erases the 6, and puts 12. And we're all like, what are you doing there, buddy? Are we doing 2 burger days a week? And he just kind of like looks down and like shakes his head. And about 30 seconds later, we hear, hey, everybody, this is the captain over the 1MC. Oh, no.
Man, what a way to find out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he had just come from some like khaki
Planning
call
meeting.
or something,
Master
and
gunnery
went
mess.
straight down. Well, this was back in the Navy back in the day.
Oh.
Went straight down to the mess decks to update that,
Oh.
and everyone in line was like, "What?" A couple weeks later, he comes down again, erases, and everyone's like, and he like took away 2 weeks from it or something, and we were like, "Oh my god."
That last month of deployment is always just it's a crapshoot on what day you're getting back, anyways.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you got to plan for a certain day and you have families to plan. But
My favorite is when you're pulling back and you're like, all right, we're going to be on Thursday and it's Monday. Then you guys go to River City.
yeah,
And then you don't come in until a day late, but you have no way of telling anyone.
Yep.
Because you're at River City. I've had that one happen.
so like I said, that kind of ties into the whole theme of how we watch kids grow up. We go on deployments. We do 20 years in the military. Why we're doing it and why it's going on, if you think about it, it's going to slow time down. It's going to slow that time down while you're thinking about it. But then next thing you know, 3 months have gone by. You didn't even pay attention. And then when we're done with it all, we tend to not really focus too much on the slow times, the times where we're like, this freaking sucks. It's like when you're at the very beginning of deployment, you're like, oh, this is awful. Then you kind of get into a routine. You realize, nope, not coming back for 5 more months or 7 more months, whatever.
Might as well make the best of it.
Yeah, and you kind of forget about the fact that you're gone and not coming back. And then halfway point happens, and in your head, you're like, holy crap, we're halfway done.
It's like the PRT. You're like, oh, I can make this last
Halfway
for a bit.
for now.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Until the 6 turns into a 12.
Yeah. But even as you get closer and closer, you start to think about it more. What does time actually do? It feels like it slows down. But time is a constant. It doesn't change. Time doesn't slow down. It's just how we perceive it.
Very
It's one thing in
philosophical.
math and science is that time is always the constant in every mathematical equation.
I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight. I'm going to have an existential crisis.
So I got one more thing to say
Oh, God.
about this, because you said burger days, right? Do you not call them slider days?
We called them Gettysburger
never-
Days and Freedom Fries.
I've never called them sliders.
Never ever?
No.
No,
Never,
sliders
ever, ever?
are always, for me anyways, growing up, sliders were small burgers.
Yeah.
Like pancake, silver dollar sliders, little ones.
So I
Yeah,
heard.
I always think sliders is, like those little, like, Crystals burgers.
Yeah. But circle.
So I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard once upon a time that sliders were a nautical term, and hot dogs being rollers, sliders and rollers,
It was a nautical term, yes.
because when the ship takes a roll, the burger would slide across the table and the hot dogs would roll across
Yes.
the table.
That was where that came from. It's a very old
So if you think about it,
nickname.
except for Leon being Marine Corps, for the three of us, former Navy, right? You go to all these American fare restaurants and they have sliders on the appetizer menu. It's like, that's Navy related there, guy.
I could see Chris being the guy talking to the waiter.
I was just going to say
and
that.
like, oh, just so you know, that's a nautical term. Like, you have the Navy to thank for
And
that.
I was in the Navy before.
You guys give a military discount, right?
Just so you know. Just so you know.
Just so you know, without the Navy, you wouldn't have sliders.
I don't wear this FCPOA shirt for nothing.
MWR shirt.
Even worse.
Yeah.
This is the Tubalard 5K.
That's worse than the gun monkeys shirts for like all the schools they've been to.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
how to shoot a gun. It says right here.
I can teach it. It says instructor.
Yeah.
I'm
does.
a team member, and we ordered special camo hats.
I have these Oakleys, and they are NSN certified, and I ordered them because I'm a gun monkey, and you can't.
Yeah.
So, what time is it? How long is the chow line going to be open?
Probably
That was like
go
15
now.
minutes or so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that we brought up sliders and rollers, I'm starving. You guys want to go grab something to eat?
I mean, I'll go with you. I don't think Rob's going to be able to unless we carry him.
Would you mind bringing it back?
I thought you were
To the
going to
shop?
say, would you mind us carrying you? And I was going to be like, no.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Are we allowed to eat in the shop?
We make
have
food
a
down here all the
food
time.
Synthesizer.
Yeah, but nobody knows about that. I'm talking about
No,
walking it through the PUA.
Put it in your pocket. I put pocket chicken in my pocket
that's
all the
true.
time.
That's true. That is so
yeah,
gross.
let's go get him some food.
Can you grab my food, Chris? Not Drew?
I will put your slider and roller in my pocket.
After today's conversation, I believe it. And not even your pocket, your prison pocket.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good movie reference. All right, yeah, go get me some food. If they don't have anything, why don't we just make food in the synthesizer?
Pisha.
Well, if we go get it, then we can all eat at the same time instead of waiting and then waiting.
That's true.
And then I'll be done before you get yours.
Okay. Yeah, go get me food. And an ice pack.
Please.
Okay, please.
Thank you.
I'll be back.
All right.